this moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Welcome to Young People Nation, where we are just blessed to be part of this great community and how God has graced us to get this work done. We're grateful to God. We're grateful to our community and supporters. Thank you all so much. And today we have Dr. Onnie Poe. How you doing, Ms. Poe?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing super great. We are just honored, and we talked when we met for lunch and about how your name came up, and it's obvious that you're very effective in the community about mental health and children with disabilities. And so I've watched you on a couple of your Facebook lives, and so I was like, wow, I would really love to meet this lady. And so I'd just like to give the audience a little bit about you. This is a little bit, y'all.
Okay.
I mean, she does a lot. Dr. Poe, as a leader, has a passion, and she's a beacon of hope and empowerment, and has a heart towards mental health, and is a huge disability advocate. Now, in her own personal journey, and we thank you for your transparency of talking about how you dealt with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. This has pushed you to even move forward in helping the community. Right. Now, she was in the education center, the education system, but she wanted to do more in the community. Now, Dr. Poe is an author of children's books. She has a channel that's called In the Flow with Dr. O.
All right.
And unrehearsed, unscripted dialogue on critical issues. Now, Dr. Poe is an activist for inclusive education, strength in the community to connect and help those to discover a voice, because there's many people out there that don't have a voice.
Right.
Welcome, Dr. Poe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Yes. And so in this session, we're going to be talking about the mental health and disabled advocate. Okay. Now, when we met with you for lunch, we just saw that passionate fire you had for the disabled and the mentally challenged. Where did that come from?
Great question. I think I was born with it.
Okay.
You know, when I think about passion, I think about that thing that comes out of us. So I believe that it was always there. I didn't always recognize it. I didn't always know it. And I can't necessarily say I discovered it. I think it just oozed out.
Okay.
It just, I think it's something that oozed out. You know, like I have conversation with people and they say, oh, you're so passionate. And when I first started hearing that, I was thinking, I don't really know. Like I'm just speaking my truth. Or I'm just speaking what I feel. But I recognize that what I feel and what I speak, it is passion. You know, it's just that fire that is within me. So I think I was born with it, but I also think that my life experiences and the things that I've been through, the things I've witnessed, the things I've seen has brought it out of me more. And so it's not anything that I can contain now. You know, it's not something that I can keep covered. And maybe at one point it was covered, but I think the more I walk in truth and speak in truth, the more my passion comes forth.
That's powerful.
Yeah, you're an excellent motivator, because I know when you were talking and all when we met, I felt the charge and all. We're gonna win this game. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm ready to go right then.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what our community needs, especially our young people. You know. And so tell us about your personal journey with your mental health. You shared that. And that's part of your charge too, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And, you know, for the longest time, I didn't recognize that I had mental health challenges. You know, because so much of what I was experiencing and feeling, sometimes it's just written off as, oh, get over it. You know, thinking back to when I was a child, and I was a very emotional child. I'm still very emotional. But now that emotional side of me is what is considered my passion.
Okay.
But younger days, it wasn't framed that way. You know, like I've always had a lot of feelings. I've always had, like, in many ways, I've had a lot of concern for the world, concern for others. And that has led me to have lots of anxiety and depression.
Okay.
And I didn't know at the time when I first started experiencing anxiety and depression that that's what it was. And what I mean by that is, one of the ways that I used to describe depression is just dark. You know, I would have days when I felt like I was dark, like I didn't want to get up. I didn't have a desire to do anything. But I was feeling so much, you know, so much of my own stuff, so much of the people around me. And it was, you know, just this overwhelming feeling of like, it has to be more.
Okay.
And that put me into a state of, I don't really know what to do. So I had a lot of dark days. When I was younger, my mom had a lot of challenges.
Okay.
And what I would say now is depression and anxiety, but she used substances to cope.
Okay.
And it was this, like, this internal turmoil of, I don't know what's going on with her, but because she was in many ways emotionally unavailable for me,
Okay.
then I didn't really know what to do with my feelings and emotions. And so it just led me down a path of not being able to speak that thought out loud, because everybody will say, well, just get over it.
Yes.
You know, and if too many times, if you're told just get over it, or you don't have a space where you can process, then where do you put that? You tuck it away.
Yes.
You know, and so now on this side of anxiety and depression, not saying that I don't have it anymore, but I've recognized how a lot of what I was feeling was just bottled up emotions or tucked down thoughts,
Okay.
tucked down feelings. That makes you anxious. That makes you depressed. It made me anxious and depressed.
Okay.
You know, and so over time, just recognizing those signs within my own self and trying to figure out what I could do about it. I really didn't acknowledge that I had anxiety until, I don't remember the year, but I remember ending up at the emergency room thinking I was having a heart attack with chest palpitations. And that same day before I left, there was a lady, before I went home, I was at school, and there was a lady at work. She was like, it's just anxiety. I was overwhelmed about something I had to do, and it was just like this feeling of overwhelm. And she mentioned the word anxiety, and I looked at her like, I ain't anxious. You know, like, who are you to tell me it's anxiety? But in reality, it was anxiety. And I was first diagnosed with anxiety at, you know, that's what they told me that night at the emergency room. It wasn't a heart attack.
Wow.
It was anxiety.
And anxiety, it seems like it's an emotion that you need this done like yesterday, and need to know how to get it done.
Yes, it's that. For me, my anxiety was emotions of yesterday, thoughts of yesterday and tomorrow, and the what if of next week, and the what if of infinite time. You know,
Yes,
it was
yes.
just all of these thoughts looming around in my mind, and it seemed like they didn't have a place to go.
Wow.
And they made me anxious.
That's one of the worst things about anxiety is it can come from anywhere, anytime, any place, any situation, and in those incidents, it really defines who you are, whether or not you are in control or you just go ape, right there on the spot, especially in traffic.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
That is true. I want to say one more thing about
Yes, ma'am.
anxiety and depression. What I realize is that my anxiousness comes when I'm focused on a time that has already passed or not yet come.
Okay.
And then depression is when I focus on a time that has previously been, and I'm replaying how I thought it could have gone differently or how I wished it could.
Wow.
But in both of those situations, it's not now.
Okay.
And so what I've learned to do is be more present in the now
Today.
because I'm less anxious,
That
and
is
not
good.
just today, but now, like this moment.
Okay.
This
Okay.
moment,
Wow.
right now, like I'm here.
That's powerful.
And I haven't always been able to be here in
Okay.
this particular moment right now.
Taking control of what works for you as well.
Yes,
Wow. Okay.
right now.
And that's important for all of us
It
to
is.
recognize us and not be looking all over the place at other people, but look at you and what works for you
Yes,
and bringing subjection you
Exactly.
Correct?
It is. I made
Yes.
a post this morning, and I used some images, and I said, I don't remember the exact flowers, but an oak tree is not a willow tree.
Mm-hmm.
A fish is not a turtle.
Mm.
You know, the sun is not the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that it's like I'm Onnie.
Yes.
And I'll say I'm the one and Onnie.
Yes.
There is one me.
Yes.
So I can't be you. I wasn't designed to be you.
That's right.
And so if I can only be me, then wherever I am as me right now is where I need to focus my heart and soul and my attention.
You hear
and
that,
has
audience?
helped me. That has helped me to be less anxious and to be less depressed.
That is a .com. Wow, huge, right there. That's a lot. You need to patent that. Now, also your journey with the disabled. We've seen people that's disabled, but they don't allow their diagnosis to define them. We know a young lady that she was dealing with a form of scoliosis or something that she walked with a limp, but she's going for her doctorate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And recently got married.
Awesome.
So, talk about some of your experiences with the community of the disabled.
Okay. What I want to comment about the lady that you shared, it makes me think about the limitations that others place on us. You know, had that same lady, and I don't know her.
Yes.
It sounds like she grew up in an environment, or she's been in an environment where she was encouraged to be great.
Yes.
Regardless of the fact that she had scoliosis, regardless
Yes.
of the fact that she had whatever.
Yes.
And so when I think about disabilities, I think about the word "dis" is like a negative. It's a negative connotation of what can't be or what isn't.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
But the last part of that is ability. Right? And
Right.
so what I've seen in the disability community is a person being defined only by the dis. But what about the able?
Yes.
The able, to break that word ability down even more.
Yes.
Is able. So in my work, and it started, I think I really got really attracted to the disability community when I became a teacher, and I had a lot of students that had IEPs in my classroom. So if a student that has an IEP, they have an identified disability.
Okay.
You know, they have to have an exceptionality to even qualify for having a disability, with an IEP, right? And so there's this label that comes along with that child, that these are all the things that they can't do, and because they have this disability, you shouldn't expect them to do it, right?
Okay.
Well, I don't want to look at that, because I feel like there are two sides to every coin.
Yes.
If a person is not able to spell well, that may be, they may have a disability by label, but that doesn't mean they can't be a great storyteller.
Right.
You know, that doesn't mean that they don't have a mind that has a vivid imagination.
Yes.
You know, a person that may have a disability and they're unable to walk, it doesn't mean that they can't talk.
Yes.
So I feel like in my work with the disability, I became very, very passionate about working with individuals who were labeled as such, because I wanted to encourage them to do what you can do.
Yes.
Like, what is the ability part of this?
Yes.
But for so many, they've been defined just by that dis.
Right.
And nobody wants to be defined by this.
That's
You
right.
know, I had a and I don't even know, I hadn't thought about this in a while, but I was born with I had a speech impediment when I
Okay.
was younger.
Oh,
So
wow.
I couldn't speak well. My mom said it was like I held my tongue, and I couldn't be understood. So I went through a few years of therapy. Now, I don't really remember all of that.
Yes.
I do remember going to speech therapy. I have an image in my mind of what that therapist looked like who worked with me.
Yes.
But just imagine if they never got me help for that, for my inability to articulate correctly.
Yes.
Because anybody could tell now how much I have to say. But
Yes.
if I was labeled, if my family thought that you know, if they just put me in a room and never tried to get me help or never encouraged me to continue speaking,
Yes.
then I would not have the voice that I have now.
Right.
Wow.
But the thoughts were always there. I just had to grow into them.
And that's the importance of awareness.
It really is. It really is.
And parents, I guess, not being in, I don't want to say delusional, but
Denial?
Okay, yes, denial that your child need a little help with this. However, let's look at what you can do,
Exactly.
and let's expound on that.
Right. and we have to take away the shame too. You know, because a lot of times there's a lot of shame that comes around what a person is unable to do. And I just feel like sometimes we just focus on the wrong thing. You know, it's not. There's a quote by Miles Monroe, and I don't want to misquote him because I love Miles Monroe.
Yes.
But it goes something like, there are those who have eyes that look, and those that have eyes that see. And I believe I have eyes that see.
Yes.
Because some people could look at a child who's unable to walk and only look at the fact, oh, you know, how's she going to do this or whatever. But I can see so much more potential. And it's like the disc goes away. And I want to focus on what are they able to do.
I think one of the greatest disadvantages for parents in those situations are they disable the child twice.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And in it,
That's good.
That is good.
and in it, they don't get that child to show his ability.
Right.
And in showing his ability, he might be a math genius.
Yes.
But because he has a limp or a missing arm and all, you have disabled him twice.
Yes.
You treat him like something's not there. You don't take him out in public because you're ashamed.
Yeah.
You say, for instance, if he can't speak that well, you talk to him like he can't hear.
Right. I've seen that.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You give him an extra disability,
Wow.
and therefore the child's confidence is shot. With that, and no disrespect to the parent, because they're just trying to be a parent. And in that, they lose themselves, and then society lose themselves too, because now they are treated like, oh, this is the disabled parent of a disabled child, and you be disabled too.
That is really profound. That is really profound. I've seen that.
And we got a few minutes, but we do want you to talk about, you talked about with us, to my husband's point, about that parent and the mental stuff they go through with a child. And I'm about finished with the disabled, with the child that has a diagnosis, okay? And you talked about preparing a combat kit. Can you expound on that in a few minutes for that parent?
Yes, I can.
The parents out there that's caring. And so most of the time, let's just be truthful, it's one parent. It's not a dual parent home.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yes.
A lot of parents are raising kids with complex disabilities or complex diagnoses. And sometimes as a caregiver, it's easy to lose yourself in caring for the child.
Yes.
You know, even if your child doesn't have a disability or doesn't have a complex diagnosis. But I worked on a project with a young lady. She's here in Augusta, Naomi Williams, and her organization is Exceptional Living 101. But together we worked on a project where we helped parents create like a self-care kit.
Okay.
And it was basically to combat social isolation. The idea stemmed from being like closed in during COVID. But a lot of times if you don't know what you need to be well, and your whole sole purpose is caring for another person, then what happens when your ability to care runs out, right? So we just took a proactive approach. That's the word you used earlier.
Yes.
Being proactive instead of reactive, to talk through, what do you need? You know, if you're having a rough day and you just want to come home and settle down, what do you need?
Yes.
So if you think about that in advance and you put yourself a little kit together, we made boxes.
Yes.
You know, it could be as simple as a crossword puzzle.
Yes.
It could be if you like to have hot tea or coffee. You know, just thinking about not anything elaborate, anything extravagant. It could be a bottle of wine.
Yes.
You know,
whatever works for you.
Whatever works for you.
Yes.
But thinking about your role outside of being a nurturer and a caregiver for someone else, and figuring out what it takes for you to nurture yourself, and having that available. Even knowing who you can call. You know, because, you know, we all have different friends, but if I need encouragement and uplifting, I may call one friend.
Yes.
If I need somebody to co-sign me going off and being negative, you know, I'll call another friend. But just having a kit, you know, parenthetically speaking, that you know what to go to when you need that support. Because raising children with, like, some parents have children that have real significant disabilities.
Yes.
And we talked earlier just that term is so broad.
Yes.
And I don't want to minimize those challenges that are very difficult.
Yes,
because a person that has a physical disability is more challenging than a person. Well, I can't say more challenging. I can say it's a different type of challenge.
Yes.
Because you can't really say one is more challenging than the other.
Yeah.
But just knowing what you need and knowing where to get support.
And I want to say this as we close, that it's important for the people around them to pay attention.
Right.
Yes, please pay attention to that person that's caring for that child with those challenges.
Yes.
Because they need a break.
They do.
Yes. And so, God give us the grace and the ability to give them those breaks.
Right. And you know what? Along with that, with the people around paying attention, it's also important for parents and individuals to articulate their own needs. And one of the things that I say often is, if a person is coming to me with a challenge, I would say, how can I best support you? And that is just a question that I ask now.
Yes.
Because I don't even use the word help, because sometimes help transcends as though I can't do it.
Yes.
And people don't want to feel like they can't do anything.
Yes.
But when you offer support, that's saying, I'm here with you, I'm willing to support you, but you need to tell me what you need.
Yes. Yes.
And that has been powerful.
Yes.
Just seeing the responses that I've gotten when I asked that question, because sometimes people would say, I don't know. Because that was a difficult question for me to answer at one time.
Been there as a wife and mother.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that is a question, parents, that you can articulate into your language or just infuse into your dialogue. How can I best support you?
I like that. How can I best support you instead of help?
Yeah.
That's good.
And then sometimes how we think a person needs support is not what they need.
Exactly.
So we're offering support that is unwarranted or unwelcome, and we're doing more disservice than service.
Absolutely. Well, this is the end of our first session.
Okay.
And we always like to give out the mental health hotlines, because we never know who's listening. There's the 988 hotline. There's a text 741. That's free 24/7 service. The NAMI.
Yes.
The National Alliance on Mental Illness. And you can go to their website and pull up the state that you live in to get help. Also, there's the 211 for general community resources. That's 24/7. And of course, if you can't remember any of this, 911. Do not sit there and don't get some form of help.
Absolutely.
Mr. Perry?
Well, yes, you go through everyday life, and a disabled person or a disabled member in the family and all. Their disability is there for you to see, but your disability is the one that's hidden. Make your compassion into an action to solve the problem. This is the Young People Nation, and remember, there's always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know His word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what He gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by His love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth on to what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.